Your ideas work on the first try. Iteration is key to innovation. Most people give up on AI because the first answer they get seems generic. But AI isn't a mind reader. It can never know exactly what you're thinking unless you're able to correctly transfer what you want to it. And while even that can't be perfect, we can get close. So for today, I'll show you how to take a 5-step process to essentially copy and paste your thoughts into an AI. The number one mistake people make when using AI is they drop in one vague prompt and then blame the AI when it gives them a generic answer or the answer that they did not want. It's kind of like trying to publish your first book without doing any editing or proofreading. Not gonna go so well, is it? Take it like this. Would you expect your friend to play a game of chess exactly like you if all you did was tell them the rules once about the game and how the pieces move? Didn't think so. So how exactly would you go about teaching them how to play like you? If I were you personally, I would sit with them whilst they're playing a series of games and correct them on their moves until they get it. Which, if we're being real, would probably take a pretty long time. But you get the point. Fortunately, doing the same with AI doesn't take too long. In fact, it can be summed up into 5 simple steps. And I'm about to walk you through it. And what better way to take you through this 5-step process than to do it with an example. So, the first step in this process is to define your goal. So let's say my goal is to validate a new business idea and to know all the pros and the cons and to get a launch plan of the entire thing. Now that I know my goal, the next part would be to draft my first prompt. Depending on how good you are at prompt engineering or just prompting in general, this can either be really bad or really good. But either way, it won't really matter in the end because it's an iterative process. And if you iterate, more likely than not, you'll get the answer that you're looking for in the end. Let's say that my first draft of a prompt is, give me a list of 5 business ideas to start. And then we let that run. So these are the ideas that it has. Obviously, for you guys might get a completely different response than I did because my particular ChatGPT is trained on, well, me and my needs and my goals. It does have a bit of a skew towards the things that I am good at, which you can find in another video. But I digress. Here's the idea list that I have. For the purposes here, we got an AI marketing automation agency, a niche fitness supplement brand, online course and coaching business, content creation plus personal brand studio, and a real estate plus AI hybrid business. Now, while these are all a bunch of good ideas and you can have a read at them if you want, let's say that for this example's purpose, I'm a complete beginner and I'm just getting into the whole business type of thing. And I want an idea that has a low barrier to entry and that I will be able to execute and do in a short period of time. So how can we take this prompt and turn that into something that meets my needs? Which brings us to step 3, which is testing it and evaluating it. So we evaluated that the ideas, while they may be good, are a bit too out of scope for what I want. And that I want something that is easier to execute, easy to learn the skills of, and has a relatively low barrier to entry. Let's go with that. So instead, we could format the AI in a structured way, giving it something like a role. That way, we can get more specially tailored ideas and suggestions. We can give it context on what we are currently looking for. we can give it some instructions so that it knows what to do and how to do it. We can give it some constraints so that it knows what not to do, which is, to say the least, more important than what to do if you want to prevent stuff like hallucinations from happening. And we could give it a output format so that it is reliably consistent. So let's fill this out. So instead of this first prompt that we put in, we can start off with a role, which could be something like a startup consultant. So we could say something like, you are a world-class startup consultant with, 10 plus years experience that helps entrepreneurs evaluate and find business ideas that are valid for their needs. So now we've given the AI a role, so now it knows who it is, what it does. Now we give it context on who we are and what we want it to do. In which case we can say something like, the user, which is us, wants to start a new online business in 2025 with limited capital and experience. They want the business to revolve around a skill that is relatively easy to achieve. And let's say for this added emphasis that we already have a skill in digital marketing and can be combined with their skill of digital. So now we've provided the AI with some context on who we are and what exactly we want it to do with its role. So now the next part would be the instructions, which is telling it what to do. So you can say 1, generate a list of 3 potential business ideas relevant to 2025 trends and the user's needs. Put in number 2 for each. Provide a description, an audience, pros and cons, challenges, skills to learn, an initial value proposition, and a 7-day validation test. Let's just leave the instructions. Okay, and let's just leave the instructions as that. So now it knows what it should be doing. And now we tell it what it shouldn't do so that it doesn't go off the rails and puts in some random stuff that we don't want otherwise, right? So in this case, we could say keep each idea under 200 words, avoid generic suggestions and advice. Keep ideas revolved around the user's current skill set. That would be pretty good for a what not to do section. And then the last part is the output, where we tell it how we want it to format these ideas. So in this case, we could say something like present the ideas in a table with 3 rows. Okay, so we went from this to this, where we define pretty clearly a role, a context, instructions, constraints, and an output. Let's let it go ahead and run again and see what it gives now. So it's kind of gone a bit skewed out. Okay, so you can see the ideas that it's come up with now. It's taking obviously the current trend in 2025 being everything AI, and it has correctly synthesized it with the skill set that we told it that we have, which is in digital marketing. So the ideas that it gave us now is an AI-powered content repurposing agency that takes long-form content and turns them into short-form clips, carousels, email snippets, and SEO blogs using AI, tools, and marketing. It gave us a micro AI landing page builder where we use no-code plus AI to create fast conversion optimized landing pages for small businesses who can't afford agencies, which is a good market and a very big market to target. And then our last idea is an AI newsletter plus lead magnet studio, which creates lead magnets, which are guides, checklists, and quizzes, plus automated newsletters for small businesses using AI-generated content and digital marketing skills. So these are all the ideas that it gave, which now align with our skill set and with the skill in 2025 that is relatively easy to learn, which is AI. And it also went ahead and gave us some audiences, some pros and cons, some challenges, the skills to learn, on top of giving us some places where we can learn these skills from, and also giving us the websites and softwares where we'll be using these skills in. And it also gave us an initial value proposition, which you guys probably can't see now, so I'll turn it into a format that you guys can easily see. Alright, so continue on. You can just see that apart from the other parts that we talked about, it gave us the initial value proposition for the content repurposing agency, which is turn one video into 20 plus assets that grow your reach everywhere in under 48 hours. And it gave us a 7-day validation test. And it did the same for our micro AI landing page builder and our AI newsletter plus lead magnet studio. Pretty cool, right? But it seems that our 7-day validation stage is a bit too vague. What if we wanted a bit more detail in it? That brings us to step 5 and the last step, which is to iterate again. So this part is optional and you will run between steps 4 and step 5 until you get an answer that you like, and then you take that in. So let's see how we'll do if we tell it to put in more detail into the 7-day validation test. So we can say something like expand on the 7-day tests only and turn them into a detailed step-by-step action plan for each, keeping it to a max of 150 words. Let's run that and see how it does. Alright, and there we go. Now we get a response for each and every single one of the ideas, split up between the various days, and what to do to validate each and every single idea. Pretty cool, right? And put it simply, that is the power of iteration with AI. And there you have it. So the interesting thing is, this idea came to me from a podcast I was listening to, where a conversation about AI led into a pretty interesting argument, where one side was thinking about it as some kind of, fad, or not what it was cut out to be currently as it is in the present and as it further advances in the future. It was pretty interesting, but the arguments were, to say the least, a bit flawed. They stated that as it is right now, it's currently being overhyped. While there was some merit to his argument, not all AIs are made equal, and everything right now has the buzzword of AI in it. And as it is right now in the industry, AI is kind of made to be almost like its sci-fi equivalent, at least when people are comparing it to something. I do believe that his argument was flawed mainly because of two things. One is a lack of properly set expectations of what AI is and what it isn't. And two is the ability on how to use it properly. As we've gone through, AI is by no means perfect, and it can't read your mind and output exactly what your thoughts are. There are also a ton of different versions of AI, the most common commercial ones being text-based LLMs like ChatGPT and Claude, at least in what we use today. But it's a really big bucket of a bunch of different things, and specifically for the commercial AIs, that we can't get an output that is exactly like our thoughts. With iteration, we can get close, and close enough that the difference between what we're thinking and what we get becomes insignificant. So, to put it simply, the magic with AI isn't just better AI, but it's also better prompters, better users. So, until next time, I'm in your corner, and I'm rooting for you.